Hello, everybody, and welcome to In the Doll World. I'm your host, Georgette Taylor, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this amazing guest with us today. Today, we have Robin Hickman-Winfield, and she is the artistic director and founder of a Celebration of Soulful Dolls. Not only to mention, she is an amazing visionary, producer, and influencer, and we're so excited to have her here on In the Doll World. Welcome, Robin.
Oh, this sister, I am this. You call me an influencer. I'm like, whoa, thank you.
You are.
Sister. Oh, I'm honored. I am truly, truly honored. And beyond honored, I'm blessed to be in conversation with you. I truly thank you so much for all you do as an influencer. And I feel that you have brought forth a ministry, which you have done, your gift. You have. Wow. And I mean, you invited me, and that's who I am. So I'm bringing my whole self to you today. So I hope
Please
that's okay.
do. Oh yes, we are so ready for your whole self there, Robin. Okay. We're so ready for that. So we start the show off. We ask our guests, what has your doll journey been? Like, where did it start? How did it evolve? And how did you get here to be a guest on In the Doll World?
Well, I will lift up first to my mother, Patricia Fraser Hickman, who she is on high. She is my angel. She was a beautiful warrior queen who would ensure that her children, her daughters had dolls that looked like them. She was unapologetic about us having Black dolls. Every year, she went to she was a member of National Black Child Development and the National Black Women's Health Imperative and Project. And she would go to that conference in Atlanta, and we couldn't wait for her to come home with those Black dolls. But she again, unapologetic about that. And so we grew up having them. And I loved my neighbor Jill. She had all of the Barbies, but so when Christy doll came out and then Julia doll came out, but that was our world. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we maybe had one doll Barbie a year or Christy a year, but that was just me. We had, it wasn't always easy in our life. My parents were activists, Black Power movement. And so most of my parents were, I said change agents. And when you're change agents, there's not a lot of change coming in the house. But I would, that was my way to kind of create a little world of my own and create my joy in the middle of the struggle. Was me going and kind of getting down with my dolls and creating this little world with these beautiful Black dolls. And so that's how it all started for me. And when we couldn't afford dolls, I would make paper dolls. And so I was always an artist. But it just started with Mama and her nurturing that creativity in me. Me, making clothes and furniture at a young age as a little girl. And that just stuck with me. But I used to always say, when I grow up, I'm gonna have all the dolls I want. Guess what? I do.
Oh, yay.
I do.
Yeah, that's great that she influenced you and she made sure that there was dolls there that represented, people that looked like us, in your family. I mean, that's just so important. And the fact that she went above and beyond, making sure that she found dolls that looked like that,
very important.
Just accepting, what was there.
And that social commentary that was always with it, so it was about, yes, we had the Mattel dolls, but we also had and she also supported back in, and you're talking in the 60s, there were Black companies that were producing Black dolls then, so that's not their word. So she sought out, when you went to the conference, they had those vendors that were at those conferences then. And so she was also instilled in us as children the importance of supporting us as entrepreneurs as well. So that was instilled young.
Very cool. So you were saying that she supported you as being entrepreneurs. When did you feel that your entrepreneurial journey started?
I believe too, watching my mother was in early child development, people let it call daycare, but my mom to me was an entrepreneur. She was in the business of raising the children of the village, right? Her and other women, before there were child care centers, you know, that are now making big bucks, taking the women in our village, I saw as entrepreneurs. So we saw that at a young age in the business of raising the children of the village. You know, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but when Hillary Clinton wrote her book, It Takes a Village, you know, I was like, yo, no, don't get it twisted. That was not her wisdom. That's an African proverb. It takes a village to raise a child. And so we saw that at a young age, the women of our community being entrepreneurs. And so, again, I learned that very young. Watching them.
She also obviously seemed to have been a really big influence on your creativity, right?
Absolutely.
To allow you to be creative within the space that you chose to be creative in, you know.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Again, when I said when you're raised by change agents and there's not a lot of change coming out, but Mama, you know, before she went into childcare, she was a seamstress at a factory. So she taught me how to sew. She was gardening was her passion. She came from farmers. You know, they migrated from the South and migrated up north on their way to Canada and stopped in Minnesota. And that's where they landed, in upstate Minnesota. And they were farmers. And so Mama had her garden. So we knew about all of that and how to sew, you know, how to grow our food, how to bake from scratch, how to cook, all of those things, but with your hands, you know, the passion of just creating with your hands. And so, but the sewing, you know, we had home ec. You bring something, you're making a dress, it better look as good on the inside as it does on the outside, you know, all of that. So all of the things that I do with my Soulful Dolls now and creating, it just started so young. You know, even back when I was young, I used to write stories when I was a child about my dolls, again, bringing them to life. When you're a child and your father is in the Black Power movement, and that's instilling you, that's not an easy life as a child. You know, that was kind of dangerous, you know, but to escape some of that seriousness, again, my joy in the middle of the struggle was my time with my dolls.
Wow.
Right. Joy in the middle of the struggle. The arts. My father had a cultural arts center. It was called the Inner City Youth League. And so the children in the inner city, in the hood, we were exposed. We were children learning how to sculpt and paint and do theater and photography and media making. I am the great niece of photographer, filmmaker, author, composer, Gordon Parks.
Yes.
I was with my uncle when I was knee-high to a duck, falling in love with what he did. I'll talk more about that later. Yeah. And I will say this, you know, he loved my doll visioning, you know, so all of that. He saw me as a little girl loving my dolls and encouraged it. And so just a blessed journey.
Just a plethora of just amazing people that surrounded you. I mean, the blessing that has helped to I guess create this powerful person that I'm talking to right now. You know, I mean, it's so wonderful because, you know, you were able to be creative, like you said, even amidst all the things that were happening, you know, with the civil rights and all the other things that your family was involved in, that you were able to find something that you can take, be creative, and also have commentary on. To just not have dolls, but to create these amazing what they call lifestyles in miniature. That's what I heard somebody say, that experience that they have when they see your dolls, that's what it's about. Lifestyles in miniatures. And to be able to take all that history that you have and create dolls that bring the lifestyles alive, and to create commentary to make them so powerful, and not just have them there because they're fashion dolls or anything like that. It's just so powerful. And that's what you do. You do that exceptionally well.
Oh, thank you.
Really
it's about, for such a time as this, which is one of my favorite scriptures, for such a time as this. This is something that is a scripture I've been lifting up here. Where I'm in Minnesota. This is where the world is watching.
Yes.
My state for all the wrong reasons right now. It's really tough for us right now here in Minnesota. Yeah. And I am a media maker. I'm a TV and film producer. I'm a teacher. I'm an artist. But it's rough right here. So when we talk about narrative change, and to be able to use, again, my calling, my artistry, as a way to change narrative,
Mm.
present a different narrative about our people.
Yep.
About people. I mean, because my soulful doll world is inclusive of other communities and of other cultures. But when even young men, I know one of my characters, in my real life, I have no children, but I have hundreds of children as a teacher and as a mentor. But I have my husband Stevie, I have a soulful Stevie doll, but we have a son and daughter, soulful dolls. And my son Marcus doll, I have him posed in front of a George Floyd mural. And I just got really at Gordon Parks High School, where I teach. This named after my Uncle Gordon, but there was a mural of George Floyd, and I just got chills. I said, I have to have my Marcus doll pose in front of that mural. Again, social commentary. After Trayvon Martin, I posed and had it in an exhibit. A brother doll that I had in the hoodie, and I made a miniature copy of Ebony magazine when they had I Am Trayvon. And so that was just important to put in that exhibit. I mean, so I don't know, it's just kind of in me, but I did have, and I might jump all over, but I did have a number of years, many years, that I had put the dolls down. And I have to tell the story. It was, oh my gosh, my cousin has to be almost, in her mid-30s now. But she was 6 years old. And I went out to California to visit my cousin and her daughter. And my cousin went to work, and I played dolls with Nikki all day. So she literally kind of re-sparked this in me. And we played dolls, and she had everything. And I was like, oh man, this is fun. And she said, Cousin Robin, do you have any dolls? And I said, no, Nikki. And she said, you don't play anymore? I said, no, I'm too old. And she was so serious. She said, you're never too old, Cousin Robin. And I just got chills. Promise me when you go home, you'll buy a doll. I crossed my heart. Oh, wow. And I said, I promise you. And I came back home, and I went to Target, and I found a Nigerian bar that had the dolls of the world. And I was like, I called her, I said, I found a doll. She's so pretty. She looks like me, Nikki. She said, name her Robin. And I did. And I started buying a few more dolls. And then I had left a good government job to work for an NBA player to start his foundation. And then courtside at the arena, he said, I'm going to get traded, so I'm not going to do this foundation. I'm like, what? I love my good job. And I could have gone into a depression if it had not been for me, God blessing me to find the joy of dolls again. Yeah. I had two other little cousins, Ari and Starsha, who came over for the weekend. And they were like, okay, we're getting kind of bored. Do you have any dolls? And I'm like, I happen to have some dolls in the closet. And so that literally kept me from going into a depression. Wow. God brought it back to me. And as I was looking for other jobs and everything, I started making clothes. I said, I better not try to go out here buying these little outfits, but I started sewing clothes, making little pieces of furniture. I found a job, and I said, well, I need a crib. I literally went to a dollhouse shop in Minneapolis. They had Barbie scales, and I was paying down on it. And when I finally bought it, I brought the dolls, I got my deed. There was a whole newspaper article about it. Me bringing the dolls, getting the deed to the house. It was great. I mean, Star Tribune did an article. Elvin Poussaint even wrote a comment. They interviewed him about the importance of Black dolls, because I was using it in the dolls in my work over the years. See, so dolls are not just a plaything. For me, it has not been. Our babies need it. Yeah, they do. When you have our young women who are going through how can my doll ministry, because yours has been my ministry, because it saved me. How can my ministry save our young women? And in fact, I'm too old. No, you're not. If you're 12, if I'm 50 something, I'm 40 something, 50 something, whatever. And I can do it, you can at 12. That's true. But if they see me doing it, they can get excited. And I'm thankful for the way that the Soulful Dolls have evolved and they can get excited. If my 17-year-old students, scholars, I call them at Gordon Parks High School, the brothers, can get excited because they see those Jordans. Oh man, Miss Robin, those are cold. Oh man, you got we're gonna help you. We're gonna put you on whatever those little social media, whatever. We're gonna hook you up on what I don't even know. Or when I'm at a correctional facility, and the young brothers say, "Oh, here comes Miss Robin with them dope bars." Okay, whatever. I have seen it.
Yeah.
For such a time as this, to be blessed to use my artistry. Right now, the Soulful Dolls are healing healers at children's hospitals of Minnesota. I've been witness to doctors get emotional seeing. So I'm gonna hush, but I just
no, don't hush. No, I mean, because it is about, you know, it is about just what you're sharing, how important dolls are. That
they have said just it is. And my mother said it was not long before she passed, and I was showing her one of the hats that I made. I mean, I saw a spread in Oprah's magazine. It was one of her early magazines. She had a garden party. And I saw the hat, but this was, and they had hats on. I said, oh, the doll needs some crowns. And I studied millinery just to make hats for my doll.
Really? Okay, so let's get back to that. You studied millinery.
We'll tell this little story.
You studied millinery just to do hats for your dolls?
To make crowns for the dolls. Every step that it takes to make a hat for us. And you know, folks are like, girl, you need to make me. No, y'all, no. The dolls do not complain. I'm trying to do what I'm for real people. I saw the article. I saw those hats. I said, the Soulful Dolls need them. And I started making them. That led to, I don't know if you remember the book that came out with Black women in their church hats.
Yes.
Crowns.
Crowns. Yes, that's what it was called.
And so Regina Taylor, the actress and producer, did a play called Crowns. The play was at one of our theaters here, the Guthrie Theater. And I had an opportunity. And then, so I was asked to have my dolls on display in the gift shop in their crowns.
Nice.
And so I did a display of one of the dolls sitting in a chair with the crown. And I made a miniature copy of Crowns. And it was in her lap. Well, the author of Crowns came and wanted to buy the display. My dumb butt, I'm like, oh, brother, thank you, but no, I can't give it up. And I was able to make Sister Regina a hat pin. So I made a little pin of a hat.
Right.
So I have been so blessed. I will sit here with you and reflect. And it's gone places that I could have never imagined. Some of the customized dolls, our dear brother who we miss, especially for such a time as this, Prince. I grew up with Prince. We miss him. Everybody says they miss him, but some of us who grew up with him and know. I was very blessed to be able to do a display after he passed away. I had an exhibit, and one of my displays, what I call the Beautiful Ones Band, and it was a girls band, and they were all in purple, and someone from Sheila E.'s team.
Wow.
They saw the display. And so I was invited when she did a tribute concert. She invited 12 artists from around the country to display their work. And I was invited to be a part of that and have my display. And I said, oh, I need to do a Sheila doll and get a drum set. And so when she brought the media through and she approached my display, she lost it. It's like, oh my God, is that me? And I had made an extra one to gift to her.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's
great. She just lost her mind. She was like, oh, this is me. Judge Maybelline commissioned me to do one of her. And I had her in all yellow. I had a hat. And I said, and here's the hat, but I have a wig. I don't want a wig, girl, like this short afro, girl. I'm gonna start wearing my hair like this. My dear friend, Camille A. Brown, who is a choreographer, Broadway, taking Broadway by storm now, not just as a choreographer, but making history as a director and a producer. I have a program called Loving the Skin I'm In for like 16 years. My girls of Loving the Skin I'm In got to present Camille A. Brown, her customized doll. It has just been amazing. Gifting girls in Ghana, West Africa, customized, soulful dolls.
Yes.
For girls to have never seen, imagine having a doll, not just their complexion, their hue, but with little short afros.
Yes, yes. And I was going to ask you, like, but just knowing the type of exhibits that you have created and where they're being displayed. I was going to ask you, how are they inspired? But I could see how they're inspired just by the things that you want to share about who we are. That inspires you. But are there other things that inspire you to create these amazing, beautiful miniatures and dioramas and photography?
One's about to leave. My husband's on his way out. I would say love, and as he leaves, it's a soul thing. My company is Soul Touch Productions. I am in the business of touching soul.
Say that again, please.
Media producer. I produce television and film, and again, I came by it honestly. I walked in the footsteps of my Uncle Gordon Parks. I love doing what he did as the first Black director in Hollywood.
Yep.
First photographer for Life.
Yep, that's right.
Magazine, and I loved what my uncle did, and so he was my uncle, but my mentor professionally. And so
I love your the photography that you did with his doll. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it's
thank you so
beautiful.
Thank you so much. Last October, I got to go. Every year I go to Fort Scott, Kansas, where he was born and where he's laid to rest, but they have a celebration. And I got to, for the first time, take the Uncle Gordon doll to Fort Scott and photograph him. Well, first of all, take the doll to his resting place, because Uncle Gordon met his doll about a year before he passed. Uncle Gordon summoned me to come to New York, and he was a little down. I was a little down. I said, I'm going to take the Soulful Dolls and take his doll. So he actually held his doll. He was like, baby, is this me? I said, yeah. I had it when he came out of his bedroom. I had it standing in front of his breakfast plate, and the doll was holding the camera, pointing. He said, oh, that's me, baby. And he loved it. He loved my photography. He would give me points. So he was one beautiful photograph of a beautiful chocolate doll. She had on a beautiful gown. And it's like one of his Vogue photographs. He said, no, baby, tell me how you accomplished this. I said, man, I ain't you. The sun was shining, and I pointed the camera and shot. It ain't that deep. We had that kind of flow. I will share with you that Uncle Gordon, I had asked him, I wanted to work on a coffee table book project, and we were going to do it togetgether. Now, would that have been deep or
that
what?
Would have been beautiful.
Woo!
Man, that would have been so amazing.
He loved my work that much. He said, baby,
was amazing.
Do something with this. He encouraged me. He said, you got to do something with this. He passed away before we could start the project. But he held. So can you imagine how my scholars at Gordon Parks High School feel when they get to hold that doll?
It's just so powerful. So I want to ask you, I know you talk about, doing your dolls and helping the community and bringing powerful images to the forefront. And I know that you work with a lot of young women. I know y'all are young people, to help them to, find themselves and to let them see that there's other things that they could do out there, that they are beautiful and that they're worthy. And I know that you have a mentee, right? I believe a young person that you involved.
Yes, I do. Yes,
I want you to talk about your protege for a little bit, and how did that come about for you, and why is that important for you to mentor younger people into what you're doing?
It's really important. My work with young women and using my artistry, again, for years, it's been so important. Again, our young women, again, have a different narrative about themselves, has to see, when I think about my work, loving the skin that I'm in. It's about, they don't get to see images of beauty. They don't get to see images and visions of possibilities. And I think that I have tried to present visions of possibilities through my doll art. And loving the skin, I have one story I definitely have to share this, and then I'll get to my mentee, or my protege. I was at a suburban school, and loving the skin, man, predominantly white, Latina, Asian girls in this group, and there were a few Somali girls. And I showed one of my portraits of one of my Somali dolls, and one of the Somali girls said, oh my gosh, she looks just like my auntie, who happens to be Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I'm like, oh, girl, I know your auntie. But in that moment, where the predominantly the rest of her class does not look like her, she could be proud. Well, that's my auntie. Well, but I have just saw a photograph, a portrait of a doll. I said, girl, your auntie has this picture in her office in DC. What? See how powerful. That same group of girls were pen pals to my girls group in Ghana.
Oh.
They were writing and preparing cards because I was getting ready to take the trip to Ghana. That was the Sister Connect.
Wow.
So how powerful this is. But that same group of girls, my last stage, I had the group, the Loving had become so big. I had women who taught the classes. I would just pop in as Mama Loving, always taking my dolls. So gifting an Asian girl her first Asian Barbie ever.
Wow.
And then she takes it home, mama crying because the girl ain't never had an Asian doll before. And her brother saying, that's kind of cool. But my last day, I'm going and I'm signing off all these little portraits that I was giving to the girls. Esmeralda, always really chatty. That day, she's not, little Latina. And they're saying, Miss Robin, something's wrong with Esmeralda today. She's not saying anything. And so I'm like, okay, well, Esmeralda, come and sit with me. What's wrong, honey? She's not saying a word. So then the girls come over to me and one of the little girls says, well, Miss Robin, we gotta move to Indiana. Can we have loving in Indiana? I said, oh no, honey, but you take the loving spirit with you. Okay. Esmeralda looks up and says, well, Miss Robin, can we have it in Mexico? And I said, honey, no, I don't think so. She said, I wish we could. Now that day, let me say, that day I brought my Frida Kahlo doll to show them. And I said, well, no, I don't think we can have it in Mexico. But again, take the love and spirit with you. But why do you want to have it in Mexico, honey? She said, my family has to move back. They were being deported, girl.
Wow.
She starts crying. I said, oh my goodness. I said, well, Esmeralda, will you do me a favor? Will you take Miss Frida with you? She said, but you don't give away your collectible dolls. I said, I'll make an exception this time, honey. I get to have her. I said, I said, because Miss Frida's going to remind you that to love the skin you're in and that you are beautiful and brilliant and bold, just like she is. And we all crying. And the way she hugged that box, honey, so many stories. I can't tell you enough how those little sisters in Ghana felt.
Wow.
Or the Muslim sister in Ghana at the exchange store when she got a picture of the Muslim doll in the portrait, and on and on. But my protege. So my little sister Braylene, who was my little church sister, and I gave her first collectible doll was the Rosa Parks doll when she was like 6 years old, right? And she just, that was it. So she just got in playing with her sister's dolls and everything. So she started watching. Miss Robin, I found something on YouTube called Miss Froggy or something like that, but she does all these crafts and I'm just addicted. She's just so old soul. And I like taking pictures like you do and all that. So anyway, she's like 10 now. And so she's my co-curator. I said, I'm gonna make you my co-curator at the Children's Hospital exhibit. So I gave her a shelf.
Nice.
She is just over the moon. So she installed hers last weekend. And so she came up with her little display was of a little Black teacher with little Black children sitting around her. The doll was an art teacher. And it's gonna work perfect because I have a maid to move with braids. And she painted 2 portraits, one of Rosa Parks and one of Amanda Gorman. So one of Amanda Gorman and one of Rosa Parks, and the little children are sitting around and they have books and teddy bears and the little dolls teaching them about the 2 women in history. There's one of the people from the African American group at the Children's Hospital was we're all just blown away.
Wow.
Watching her set up that scene.
That is wow. That is so powerful.
I was just like, oh my God.
It just really allowed her to blossom too, right? Because it really was nothing for you to say, hey, I'll let you be a a co-curator on this. Just the opportunity to have her showcase the things that she loves to do and have a
Yeah.
passion for. That is beautiful.
It has to be us reaching out and providing.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean, even in my career as a media artist, a media maker, I tell my young people all the time, I have done this, I've done that, I've worked with characters. I expect you to do better than me. My responsibility is to prepare you for extraordinary. I want you to do better than me. I've done these things, but I'm preparing you to take your rightful place. But again, as the dolls, visions of possibilities. When I was putting up the displays in the hospitals, just seeing those children go by and look. I decided it was a Black History Month display, but I said, I got to give a shout out to these doctors and nurses. So I did some little displays of honoring doctors and nurses.
Oh,
for the
that's so
half-four
nice.
doctors stand and look, and one got emotional. And I'm like, thank you for all you do,
Yes.
But it's about, you ask what inspires, it's about sitting down and literally the dolls and the artistry, God divinely gave it to me to save me at a time when I could have just been like,
Yeah.
it divinely came to me. So whenever I need to, yes, I sit down and I'm in one and I pray and I think about Mama saying, Robin, I'm proud of everything that you do, but it's going to be your doll art that touches people globally.
Wow.
And I'm like, thank you, Mama. So she continues to inspire me. And,
Yes, let's see some of those beautiful dolls, please.
I know it's this is my mama doll. This is Patricia Frazier Hickman. I'm working on, you can't see
I love her hair.
I'm working on something I'm about to bust out with. Mama loved, again, I said she loved gardening, and I'm just creating something now. Y'all watch for it. I have a whole little storyline about it, but she's gonna just bring soul and soil, and what will come from be birthed
I
from
love
the
that soul and
from
soil.
the soil.
Beautiful.
So Mom's gonna bring forth blossoms and gardening, and that's what Patty's her next thing is.
I love it. I love her hair.
Oh, do you know? Look at you.
Look at that. That could be almost me.
But one summer I had an exhibit, and it was just a blessing to have. And this is something too. One of our city council members, one of our wife city council members I had known forever, he said, when I retire, I want to have an exhibit for you. He had an art gallery. I was like, get out of here. As soon as he retired, we were meeting up in this restaurant downtown St. Paul. We had the dolls to sit at the table. It was one of them high cotton restaurants. I'm like, okay. Folks came in like, he got these Black gals in the center of the table. He was serious.
Wow.
He had it, and that's where I had the first Prince exhibit. I mean, the whole tricked out. You just never know. And James Baldwin said it, and my uncle Gordon and James Baldwin were very, very, very close. But James Baldwin said, it's time for lovers of humanity to find one another.
That is,
and that's what I have found through my artistry. It's possible. I have found through these dolls, and through this art, lovers of humanity, kind of finding one.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not so much the dolls do matter, but dolls do connect.
Absolutely.
They connect us on so many levels because there's so many stories behind the love that a person has for the dolls that they cherish. And so it gives us that connection, which then allows those conversations to happen that wouldn't have happened without that. And so I'm just so thankful for all your amazing work that you've done and produced, and that you were blessed to this is your passion and your purpose. This is who you were called to be.
I feel it's my time in many kind of areas in my life right now. Again, Stevie and I just got married like a little over 2 years ago. I mean, I'm 58 going on 59 years old. We went out to dinner for our anniversary, and the waitress, how many years? And I was like, he said 40. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you should have did what you're supposed to do 40 years. But it's like, so we're like, that's my my faith walk, then my marriage, the priorities, and then it's my art, and I'm blessed to do a lot of things, but this my art is everything. He said, when you get tired of the rest of this stuff, a lot of work that I do around diversity, equity, inclusion, I got fatigue on that stuff, especially here in Minnesota. I can't explain to those who are watching the heaviness here in Minnesota right now.
Wow.
I mean, we just had another situation pop up.
That is, I mean,
No,
it's just, and that stuff like that can be so daunting,
it is daunting.
It's
But we
just,
have to protect.
but
We
at
have
the end
to
of the day, it's important. You have to do it.
Yeah. And whatever's calling us to create, to be creatives, to we have to protect that and not play small in what we've been called to do. Because one of the things I have found too, especially since I've gotten on social media, I don't claim to be any, you use influencer. You said influencer, and I'm like, I don't know, okay. But I protect whatever it is in all of this that I've been called. I protect it. I protect my spirit. I teach my young people that too. Protect your joy. Don't let nobody steal it. Protect your spirit. But when it comes to this, I protect it. I don't want no drama. I don't want any of that.
Yes.
Because when I go out here in the world and do this hard work, I am a servant leader. I was called to do that too. I was called to be out here in the community. That's my family's legacy.
Yeah.
Another recent exhibit that I had, I was commissioned by a major foundation to create an organization called In Black Ink, which is a Black-owned publishing company, to create an exhibit at the Minnesota African American and Heritage Museum to create customized dolls, soulful dolls of elders and ancestors. Oh my! Whoa!
When did that happen?
One, all summer long, they sent a video crew for 4 hours to do an interview. I mean, that was wow. To stand with my village godfather and recreate him into a soulful doll, but to be at the opening of the exhibit and stand, he's never lost for words. I was nervous. I'm like, Uncle Mark, are you okay? But to watch him look at his doll, I did a whole display of him giving a lecture. The dolls are they're sitting in their seats holding his book, but to stand with him and him look at it, he was speechless. I was nervous. I was like, y'all, Mark ain't saying nothing. To see another elder who is not as, I mean, he is, he's the father of Stokely from Mint Condition. The next day, Stokely, he ain't never got back to me. He's like, Dad is like, man, that was fire. Next day I called Uncle Mark. He said, Rabin, I'm not lying. I was frightened. I was overjoyed, but overwhelmed at the same time. There was another elder who was not as well known as Uncle Mark, I did a scene with her as an elder sitting in a rocking chair with the baby sitting around her feet, and she's reading, and she went around that whole opening telling people, go see me, that's me over there. And then I had the portraits. My mother and father here on earth, they weren't really aligned. But all things are possible in the soulful world, because in my soulful garden this summer, I could put them together. And they could hold hands. And I could create a portrait of the three of us. Patty and Bobby could come together in the soulful garden. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a world I can make anything happen.
Yes. And in the world, you can make all the connections that you want.
You can make it happen. And to bring that to our children. I love the skin of, and I just did a whole workshop with one of the sororities. And I gave them doll portraits of women and girls to give to the young ladies in the workshop. And I said, now take your portrait and bring that doll, that woman or girl in that portrait, and bring her to life. Give her an identity, right? And give her an identity and write it. And then they all shared. And I said, but your story has to be how that woman or that girl loves the skin they're in. And I've done that for years with my girls in the program. Young lady. I love that. And they reported out, well, this is Keisha, and Keisha loves the skin she's in because blah, blah, blah. It was powerful.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. Like, dolls are so powerful. Like, I don't think people understand the power that dolls have. And also, like I was saying, the community it can bring, the conversations that can happen from that. And by you doing what it is that you do and being inspired just by life in general, to create these beautiful exhibits opens up the doors to so many other opportunities for people.
But I will say this to you, my dear sister, but what I need and what I was able to do with what you gifted us, with a big, truly big, beautiful doll.
Wow.
We need her. We need them. And I think about in, 20 some years, I mean, how we need her. We need her to evolve. We need her updated.
Yes, that's true. We do.
We need her. We need her fro. We need her short fro. We need her big fro. We need her. We need her. And
we need her being her. That's what we need.
We need her being her. And we all need to support whatever your vision is, whatever your venture is. And you better know that this sister here in Minnesota has got you. Soulful Doll you. I just can't tell you how I am.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
I mean it.
You know, it's so funny when you were talking, when I was reading your information about the dolls, and you talked about loving the skin you're in. It just brought me back to those big beautiful dolls, because that was just always what it is that we wanted to have accomplished, right? For people to love the skin they're in. And our little slogan was, it had something to do with like no matter what you weigh, don't let things stand in your way, no matter what you weigh. Because it wasn't about that. It was about you moving forward and loving the skin that you're in. You know, and I will tell you, you know, and I think I said this on a show before when I think Tammy had recorded me doing, interviewing me. We interviewed each other, but we used to get so much flack about, those dolls, because people thought we were just trying to support people being unhealthy. And we're like, no, we're trying to just support people to love who they are, no matter where they're at. You can't move forward until you love where you're at.
That's right.
You cannot. And so that's what we were trying to do. But we got a lot of flack about that, because people were like, oh, well, they're unhealthy, they're big, they're this, and they had all these misconceptions about, what a plus size person was. And we really wanted to just say, this is who we are. We're beautiful, you know what I mean? And we belong, yes. And we belong in this doll world.
We belong in this doll world, and we have just got to see the other part of it too is we have to just really, especially after this, not just health pandemic, but racial pandemic. What did we learn in this thing as a people, so that we don't even have to be caught up in anybody that's telling us what we should not be doing, because while we do that, other people take the stuff and run with it.
Exactly.
Now we got curvy that ain't really curvy, but whatever.
Right.
I remember working with a brother who at the time, it had to be 25 years ago, who wanted to roll with me on some stuff. He was creating toys for Hasbro. And he since left. And he was like, well, Robin, we should come up with some doll concepts. I was like, let me tell you what I told him. I said, man, this is what we need to do. We need to come up with some dolls about some historic figures. This 25 years ago. He couldn't see it. I said, man, wow. We need to have some man, Maya, he's at Hasbro, don't you know?
Oh my gosh, they would have just, yeah.
I'm not talking about he was with Pookie and them's little doll manufacturing around the corner. He was with Hasbro. And he wanted to roll. We were partnering up because my stuff, I've been at this a long time.
Yes.
People were taking what I was doing seriously back then. And historic figures, man, I'm telling you, will kill it. What do we have now?
Right. What is Mattel doing now?
What are they doing now?
Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou.
Inspiring.
Yep.
He was Hasbro. He could have been on it. Where would we have been? I said, listen, man, we need them.
Yeah.
It's needed. I'm so mad. I think I was calling us. I said, shut up. I love you, but shut up. See, so we have to, as visionaries.
Yes, that's true.
Let's find each other and just to start just whatever. But I think we have to, again, it goes back to James Bond. Time for lovers of humanity to find one another. My prayer is, Lord, please let me connect with like-minded, hearted, spirited people and get busy. But again, I always keep it joy in the middle of the struggles.
Yeah.
And then protecting each other.
It is so needed. It is so needed. Man, I'm telling you. So, okay, I want to see one more doll from you, and then I want to ask you another
Okay, here
question.
we
Let
go.
me see.
Here we go. Here is Robin and Stephen. That's the mini me.
That is so nice. Look at that. I love it. I
That's
love her
mini me.
hair too. That looks like your
Yeah,
hair.
so I taught myself how to reroute,
Okay.
fly. And so when I first rerouted Robin, she had a lot of hair, but no, 6-7 hours it takes. I will, ooh, honey, I will reroute. Yes, you saw Mama looks like you.
I know. I love it.
I've been doing rerouting and flocking for years.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'll do those locks. And I see people doing it. They do a great job. I've been doing that for years. I'm loving that people are learning how to do it and they're doing it. Again, with your dolls, everybody has their thing that they do. Just go on out and do it. Do those tutorials. Learn how to do it. Make them your own. There was a summer when I was hitting one of those low points. I looked at tutorials and started. That one thing I don't do is I can't do the repaints of the faces, but
Yes.
there are people that do it.
There's
And
so
I'm
many
like,
beautiful people out there that do
that
beautiful,
do it. I
amazing
don't,
work.
but I like supporting other artists. I love having relationships with folks around the world that create, do, and make, supporting other people. But for me, I mean, even doing this, my little garden center scene, doing little simple craftings and things like that. But it is just so relaxing. But yes, girl, yeah, my little reaver. So at the African American Museum, this was so funny. It was the last day, and I went to the last day, and I met a grandfather with his granddaughters. And while I was driving over there, I was talking with my dear friend who was my former pastor, and I had a customized doll that I made for her when she retired, right? And that doll actually stood in the sand in Ghana because I took her and a couple, and I had a ceremony, a wedding ceremony in Ghana. So she officiated. But so she was in that exhibit, right? And so I asked the little girl, well, what is your favorite doll in the exhibit? She said, oh, I like her. I said, do you know, I was talking to her on the way over here. She's a real person. I said, yes, she is. Should I call her? You can call her. I can talk to her. So I did. I said, Gloria, there's this beautiful little girl who said, you're her favorite doll in the exhibit. She said, oh, hi. She said, oh, you're real. I was so precious.
That is so
She said, yes, I
precious.
am. She said, your doll is beautiful. You really look like her. She said, I don't.
You know, you have made that girl's little life right there. That is awesome. So what else? Okay, so what do you have coming up that we can expect? And yeah, that's what I want to know. What do you have coming up that you could share, I should say?
What I could share, I think I'm just excited. I'm looking forward again to spring. I'm looking forward to spring break where I have truly going to take time off from all of my other work. I have to pay homage to Mama.
Yes, you do.
So I have to really create her spaces. So it's going to be a lot of focus on Mama.
Okay.
Her kitchen, getting her kitchen set up, because them food artists, I have been supporting them. So we got to get that together.
Okay, good.
Her yellow walls. I have shared a lot in my storylines about Patty Yellow and my mother's wisdom that she raised us on. Okay. Mama said, always keep something yellow in your presence so that on days that are cloudy or if you're feeling low, that if you look at that yellow, it'll lift your spirit like sunlight.
Okay,
always remember,
beautiful.
The sun is always behind the clouds. And so Mama in her kitchen had yellow walls, and then her garden center vision is going to come to life very soon. So I'm going to focus on that and some other ventures that planned for the Soulful Dolls. I've been working with my attorneys, and some things gonna pop.
I'm excited. Okay, well I can't wait. I'm sure that
garden
is just gonna be phenomenal.
Other very powerful, like-minded and spirited partnerships that are and ministries to join with.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Wow. I'm looking forward to the garden and the beautiful work that you're going to be doing to celebrate your mom through the doll. I know that it's just going to be, I can't wait to see it. That's all I'm going to say. It's just going to be powerful. And I'm sure she's smiling down and just helping you along the way, each and every step of the way
Thank you.
to
Oh,
showcase her. Yeah, that's gonna be wow. Okay, almost bring me to tears right now. Okay, so
no, no,
um,
no.
so you have that coming up as far as your mother in the garden, and then you say you have another vehicle that you're doing. So we're excited about that. When can we expect to see some of those things? I know it takes time, but when can we expect to see some of that?
I will, again,
Do sneak peeks or anything?
I will have a few sneak peeks of some of the Patty projects, I
Nice.
think, coming up soon.
Okay.
Um, and then again, spring break, because again, I teach and I produce. So
Right.
spring break, but summertime, I'm going to try to start off kind of really putting some things out there. Because of some of these partnerships I've had with some of the exhibits,
Mm-hmm.
just again, I hear mom from on high saying it's your time. So
That's
I,
great.
yeah, it's just amazing.
Okay. So where can people reach out to you and find and look at your beautiful work? Where can they find you
Right.
at?
On Instagram, Celebrate Soulful Dolls. And that's where kind of my primary focus right now. And on Facebook, a celebration of Soulful Dolls.
Okay.
Oh,
I want to thank you for being on In the Doll World with us. And I'm so excited that people get to know a little bit more about you and that they
thank
can
you.
follow your journey and follow your beautiful upcoming work that pays homage and respect and honor to your mom. So
Thank you.
I'm very, very excited for people to see that. And so again, thank you so much for being with
Thank
me on In
you.
the Doll World, Robin. We really
Thank you
appreciate
so much. Blessings.
it. Thank
Blessings.
you. Thank you, honey. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.